Does your child get confused while doing fraction multiplication? Or they don't know what to do, but they really don't know why they are doing it and what does the steps actually mean? Then encourage your student to watch this video to get a better understanding and clarity of what actually happens when fractions are multiplied. Start with the basics. So when you actually do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, what does this mean? You are adding two blocks. How many times? You are adding two blocks four times. And how do you actually write this repeated addition in terms of multiplication? You might have already know it. Four times you are multiplying number 2. And the total blocks that you count, it is 8. So you know that repeated addition can be written as multiplication. On the same lines, how do I then do 4 times 1? So you're basically adding a block 4 times. And this is how you represent 4 times 1. And what is 4 times 1? You have 4 blocks, so you write it as 4. And that represents 1 plus 1 plus 1 4 times. Now, what happens when add half 4 times? So basically, that means you're adding half 4 times and you write that as 4 times half, which is 1 by 2. So how do you represent that in this visual form? Basically, you take a 1 whole and then take it into a half, divide it into half and choose just one part of it. So this basically represents half. And what you're going to do next is adding half 4 times, which means you're going to take 4 of these blocks and then going to have half of from all 4. So this would be the pictorial representation of half, half and half, which means you are adding 4 halves. Now let's count how many equal parts we have selected. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then it means that we need to have 4 parts selected. Therefore, we need 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this entire thing is basically 1, and this is half, this part is half, and this part is half. And same goes here, 1. So how many? So totally you have only divided by 2 because one whole is divided into only two fractions. But then how many full equal parts you have taken? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 divided by 2 in fraction terms. But when you actually see it as a whole, this is one whole where everything is selected and this is another whole where everything gets selected, and there that corresponds to two wholes. So 4 divided by 2 gets 2, and therefore you know that 4 times half is basically you are adding 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 or like fractions. So your the denominator remains the same and the numerator becomes 4 times of 1 because that is 1 added 4 times. So that is why when you do a whole number with a fraction, you multiply 4 times 1. Why? Because you are the just adding multiplying by 4 means you are adding 4 times the number 1. So that is why you get 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So you understood now what it corresponds to with respect to the model and with respect to the numbers. So now I understand what goes into your mind. So this is an easier example, ma'am, that you have taken a unit fraction. What happens when you take some other fraction which is not unit? So let's take another example here. Maybe 4 times 3 by 5 fraction. Yes. So let's do it in terms of number first this time and then go to the visuals. So what does 4 times 3 by 5 mean? It means you're adding 3 by 5 how many times? 4 times. That's what we learned from basic multiplication. And all are like fractions. So as you know, when adding like fractions, you know the denominator remains the same, yes, and then the numerator is the sum of all numbers. And in this case, you are adding 3 4 times. So how do you write this 3 4 times? You write 4 times 3 divided by 5. and that is 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 5. So basically, this is the reason why when you multiply a whole number with a fraction, you just multiply the numerator and write just the denominator. But now you understand what happens with the numbers. You are actually doing like fraction addition, and therefore you are multiplying the numerator and then keeping the denominator same because it's a like fraction addition. So the answer is a 12 divided by 5, and if you write in the mixed fraction, it becomes 2 times 2 divided by 5. So now let's get into the visual part. So please do draw as we discuss in your note, that will bring you clarity. So one whole, when you actually kind of divide into 5 equal parts, you get this, and you're choosing 3 out of 5. So this will be 3 out of 5. So 3 by 5. So in one part, there are 5 equal parts and you're choosing only 3. Now what happens when you are actually telling 4 times 3 by 5? You are basically doing 4 times, you are doing the same steps. What steps? You are adding 3 by 5 4 times, right? So then it is 3 by 5, 3 by 5, and 3 by 5 again. So finally, when you add all of them, what do? You will count how many equal parts are there, which is always with the denominator 5, because all of them are having like fractions. So the denominator is 5, and you will count totally how many equal parts are there. So that is basically 4 times 3, because it is 3, 3, 3, 3. So 12 equal parts are there. So then you will write 12 by 5, and then when you actually do it in the visual, you have to say 12 is not enough with just one whole, because in one whole you have only 5 equal parts, and 12 is not enough for that. So you choose another one where you have 5 equal parts again. Yes, so 5 plus 5 is 10, but then 10 is again very less than 12, right? So you choose another whole and then choose only two out of it. Why? Because you have already taken 5 plus 5, 10, so this is plus 2, 12. So this is 12 by 5 representation in the visual model. And as you see clearly, it has one whole, and this is a 2 by 5. So one whole plus one whole is 2, and this is a 2 by 5. So the answer is 2 by 5. So I hope you are able to understand what happens when you multiply a whole number with a fraction. Now, before you leave, I want you to leave with two important points. So, do you know some important fact about multiplication? What happens when you multiply two whole numbers? What is the result? How does it appear? Will that same thing hold to when you actually multiply a whole number with a fraction? Think about it. We'll see the answer in the next episode. Thank you.